After 2 weeks of build-up in Belgium, the classics get into full swing with the Tour of Flanders. Everything leading up to this means nothing, as riders take to the crowd-lined streets in Bruges. 256 kilometres lay before them, with climbs such as the Koppenberg, the Old Quaremont and the Paterberg likely to decide the race. Last year saw a duel between Alexander Kristoff and Nicky Terpstra, with the Norwegian coming out victorious. Who'll take the honours this year? Here are Cycling News' top 10 riders to watch for the Tour of Flanders. Fabian Cancellara's final Classics campaign has been a rocky affair so far. He had to battle back to bridge a 2-minute gap at E3 Harelbeke after a broken derailleur left him stranded with no replacement bike. Things were running smoother at Gent-Wevelgem when he followed Peter Sagan's key move on the Kemmelberg, but he missed out on a podium in the final sprint. There'll be plenty of disappointment for the Swiss rider, but he can take great confidence from his 2 performances and we can expect to see him in strong form on Sunday. Peter Sagan has had more than his fair share of close calls, but he finally converted them into a win at Gent-Wevelgem. After his victory, Sagan said it wasn't the win that counted, but his passion for the sport. Nevertheless, the result would be a major boost for him going into his 6th Ronde. Sagan's recent run of form is a replica of his 2013 season, where he'd go on to finish 2nd at the Tour of Flanders. In contrast, he's skipping the 3 days of Depana this week, and he'll hope that the fresh legs can take him one step higher on the podium. Alexander Kristoff makes this list due to being the defending Tour of Flanders champion. However, the Norwegian's form has been a worry of late after he was dropped and looked sluggish at E3 Harelbeke. Kristoff subsequently fell ill and was forced to miss Gent-Wevelgem. Unlike many of the Flanders favourites, Kristoff would be competing at the 3 days of Depana, giving him a chance to improve ahead of the race. It's not a long time to turn around his form, but he can't be counted out just yet. After a very strong start to the year, Greg Van Avermaet's season has hit a few stumbling blocks. Van Avermaet looked like he'd carried his form into the Classics with a good performance at Tour of Flanders, but he found himself on the sidelines at E3 Harelbeke after falling ill. The race is a key test ahead of the Tour of Flanders, and missing it could hamper his build-up. He did, however, put in a solid ride at Gent-Wevelgem, which should help make up for missing out on E3. Nicky Terpstra is one of several potential contenders for the Etixx-QuickStep team at the Tour of Flanders. Terpstra finished 2nd to Alexander Kristoff last season and looks to be the in-form rider for the Belgian outfit. The Dutch champion has been heavily visible in recent days, doing a large portion of work on the front. Etixx-QuickStep is arguably the best depth of any other Classics team, but they've yet to be able to deliver anything worthwhile in this Classics campaign, and Terpstra may have to take things into his own hands in order to secure victory. Tiesj Benoot has been one of the leading lights for Lotto Soudal during this year's Classics campaign. Along with his teammate Jurgen Roelandts, the 22-year-old has been mixing it at the pointy end of proceedings this spring. Benoot made his name with 5th at the Tour of Flanders last year, and he's ridden an aggressive Classics so far. Benoot looked good at E3 Harelbeke, going on the attack and coming home in 7th place. It's an improvement on his performance in 2015 and bodes well going into Flanders this weekend. Sepp Marker has long been a promising prospect at the Classics, with podium finishes at the Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix. Those performances have yet to turn into a monument victory, but he remains, as ever, a serious contender. Van Mark's Classics received a boost last weekend when he took 2nd place at Gent-Wevelgem, his best result there since 2010. He rode an aggressive race, and with Cancellara was the only other rider who could stick with Peter Sagan on the Kemmelberg. His 8th place at E3 is also a good sign, and he'll be a threat for the podium. In any other year, Tom Boonen will be Etixx-QuickStep's main leader at the Tour of Flanders. With the Belgian not quite at 100%, things might be a little different this year. Boonen had a quiet start to the season, with 4th on the 3rd stage of Valencia his best result so far. Importantly for Boonen, he's been in the mix at the recent Belgian races, making several of the key splits. He still has a way to go, but the occasion of Flanders itself should give the Flandrian extra impetus. Mikkel Kwiatkowski has usually missed out on much of the cobbled Classics in recent years, tending to favour the Ardennes instead. That's changed this year, and Kwiatkowski is expected to race at the Tour of Flanders. He made a brief appearance in Belgium, winning E3 Harelbeke, a late addition to his calendar after the Queen stage of Tirreno Adriatico was cancelled. The Tour of Flanders is a different kettle of fish, but he should still be in contention. Team Sky also has 2 other options in Ian Stannard and Geraint Thomas. After starting his year with a mixture of stage racing and cyclocross, Lars Boom's return to the Classics has been a decent one so far. He failed to finish at Gent-Wevelgem, but was one of the strongest 2 days before at E3 Harelbeke, where he finished 6th place, just 1 place lower than his best performance back in 2010. Boms generally performed better at Paris-Roubaix, but made a breakthrough as 6th at the Tour of Flanders last year. In the form he's in at the moment, he could definitely improve on that this weekend.